Thank you. I don't think we decided who was going to start today.
You start.
I'll start.
Yeah, cool.
Welcome to Pen and Pen, to everyone who tunes in. We appreciate your support at all times. And thank you for helping my brother to boost his channel. Shame Simzamenyana on the journey. So you're sick. Today we're not doing our gay handshake. And not in Dololoane Ramaphosa. One of the poppest handshakes in the world.
What was he trying to do then?
It wasn't him. It came from the World Health Organization because the whole world was doing it. You know, in a world where you can bow, you can wave, they decided we must greet by
elbows,
letting our elbows, like our little peels, rub against each other. Chicken wing.
Anyway, keep going. Yeah.
No, that's it for me, man. I want to speak about fatherhood. Maybe let me start by wishing all the fathers out there a happy Father's Day. We're recording this on a Sunday, so it's going to come delayed, but we assume that you would have had a great Father's Day and that you would have been appreciated where you come from your children, if you have access to your children, from the mother of your kids, if she doesn't hate your guts. So happy Father's Day, man. Happy Father's Day to all the men, more than anything, that are trying when it comes to raising their kids, especially in this environment we're in now, where men don't really know what it means to be men. Men don't have some of the greatest leaders. And to be fully honest, asking a standard man what it means to be a father has become very tricky because almost all of them just narrow it down to money.
Yeah.
Which kind of makes it sad. And even though he has passed on, may our Father, who art in... Where is he? Our Father who art in... wherever you are, Pristo. Itamale tuzwela ke uFinias Mlotshwa ingane yamsongelwa. Timothy Mlotshwa nomama uhluphekile
Undela Masoga.
Uhluphekile Lucia Mlaba, who is the man who decided to fucking skeet and gave birth to us. Obviously, when he made me with my mom, it was a romantic evening and they were listening to R&B and then some evening, I'm sure they were bored and it was cold and just a quick bus nut and then got Pumu.
Jesus
Prazo.
Christ. Not
But we know with me, it was a romantic evening.
Hot candles.
As you can see.
And rose petals.
I'm a planned baby. You can see planned babies.
Yeah.
They're made of love
Minaza quickie
and
behind
delicacy. Lona nje kwa
a quickie behind umkuku.
Kwathi pep pep. Futhi nje yazini mhlambe like on that evening.
Yeah, only to realize 4 months later that she's pregnant.
Your mom's gonna be watching this. Umlotshwa like the last bit of the bank. He was like, hey, yazi uthi ngilale, yakulaleka, uthi ngithi nje fast chap chap.
Ngithi kufaka ikhanjana.
And ngizophuma umthobisi.
Hayibo, why mina ngi sanibonani guys.
Your sister was definitely a mistake.
No, 100%.
Your sister was
No, 100%. 100%. What the old as parents, what were they doing?
I think your pali was like, say, one more for the road.
One more just
no dancing. I was like, hi, got
let's go, high five. Boom, penny.
Pomo penny looking like an albino baby. Fuck. Anyway, sorry. Happy Father's Day to you, bro.
Thanks, bro. Thanks. Sanbonan to everyone. Thanks so much for the people that actually have not migrated, but also have subscribed to my channel, Penson Lodge The Journey. And I have just dropped a video. Dropped it on today's Sunday, so was it born on Wednesday? Dropped on Sunday, so go back to my channel. I did a video about Father's Day and what it means to me. So happy Father's Day to you.
Thanks, brother.
I think a lot of us are very much confused around masculinity, being men, what it means to be a father in 2023. You're right. People just look at it as a walking, talking ATM. Not even much as talking. Rather just shut up and just give the cash.
True. Stier geld and then shut up.
So it's that. So we don't know what fathers are. We don't know what fathers are. And in my humble opinion, it's just destroying society.
Sure.
You know.
We've got to see Thabang here. Tumi is in his absentia. Machida, please stop denying your kids. You know, this is... Or let me say, you know what, don't be scared. Because we asked these gents when we got here. It's like, say, gents, happy Father's Day. Utumi was like, hey, I'm still a child. So... But I looked at him in the eyes.
Like, come on,
and
dog.
I was like, hey.
Come on, dog. The quickie behind him, Coco.
Guys, stop denying your kids. Please. Like, one of the worst crimes a man can do is deny their child. If you're not sure, because the mom was a bit of a village bicycle, bit of a village Uber. If you're not sure, maybe try and get like a paternity test. But don't deny your child. Especially if a woman is insisting that this is your child. Accept and embrace the child. Don't lose your mind.
Child did nothing wrong.
The child did nothing wrong, and then because what happens to the child, bro, is like being denied by your dad will break your mind and your heart. So own up to your kids. Thabang, see ya. Tumi.
Jesus.
Yeah. Shit. What does Father's Day mean to you?
So the way that I look at
You and I have got 9 kids between the two of us.
Yeah.
Which is fucking dope, and we need to take it to 10 soon.
Jesus. Wow.
It's a must. Night shift.
No, I'm grand.
Night shift.
No, I'm grand.
Usukran ngani?
No.
Usukran ngani?
My females afuna ukuhlala la.
Yini?
Sisi. Bafuna ukuhlala.
Oh no, having children's got nothing to do with those sis. Don't
nothing.
worry about that.
Oh, so I can be like a seahorse. I can make myself pregnant. Doesn't it?
Seahorses make themselves pregnant.
So, can they? Something like that. Something was correct.
That is disgusting.
You know,
I know female hyenas have a penis.
Jesus.
Matrons hyena. Sorry,
Anyway,
what does Father's Day mean to you? Especially as a father of 3 boys.
So yeah, it's nice that Father's Day comes at the end of Men's Health Week, June being Men's Health Month, where if media and people really cared, you know, besides, yes, let's celebrate gain and ngoma pride, shops and tandanan, because nabo my fathers, nabo my men. But I think some of us get left behind. So when something like this does happen, you tend to get a little bit of time in the sun, you know, a bit of acknowledgement. I'm happy that the past couple of years, all the single moms have taken a step back from celebrating themselves as well on the day.
Yo, Skatel Imbogoto, wishing themselves a happy Father's Day. You?
They really have quieted down. You know, every now and again, I think 10 years ago, you know, social media, Facebook would be buzzing with OCC Naboba Niga, a pat on the back for being great fathers. So give me just Father's Day is a little bit of recognition. You know, it's just well done, we see you. Anything more than that, I don't expect anything more than that. I don't expect socks. I don't expect a tie. Even though my boys made me a nice card. Undima made me this card that looks like a saw. And it's right like, you the best dad I've ever saw. you know, so it's just those things where you're like, oh, shame, it's cute. But it's just that Uguti, people can see you.
Yeah.
Uguti, well done. You are a father. Keep at it. But again, Father's Day, to me, speaks a little bit about what I believe fatherhood is about.
Okay.
You know, can I touch on that? Can I jump in?
Please.
So give me, you've got the mother, you've got the father in an ideal space. You know, in an ideal household, you've got both parents there. And it's different energy.
Is that an ideal household?
To me, yes.
Okay.
And why I'm saying it is that I want a space where kids are exposed to dual energy. You know, do they need to be exposed to dual energy all the time? No. You know, because Ubaba might be away working, Mama might be away, whatever the case may be. But if they can be exposed to 2 different energies. We've done a video before where, just for the sake of this video, I compared men to a certain animal and women to a certain animal. So in this case, let's just say women are tortoises and men are turtles. You know, so again, having that turtle energy and another turtle endlini, you know, is a great assistance for us as young boys. You know, because we see life very different from a tortoise. Many single moms are doing the best that they can do. This tortoise is a big, strong tortoise showing the little baby turtle how to walk in the grasslands, how to dig around in the grasslands, doing the best job that they can do. But they'll never be able to teach the little baby how to swim in the ocean. And that's the biggest problem, because when we get into our 20s, a lot of us young men have to unlearn everything our moms taught us. Because you start realizing that it works in the grasslands. It doesn't work in the ocean. You know, women have their own challenges, Tina, as men, that we'll know nothing about. But the same works the other way as well, where we have our own challenges and OCC also know little to nothing about. So me and now who were raised in that single mother household, our 20s were just spent unlearning. You know, our 20s were learning, she would teach us things that she thought was very valuable. You know, in her mind, that's valuable. As you get older, you realize those are traits that the traditionalist wife, you know, is seen to possess. I don't want to be a traditionalist wife. You know, you have narratives where you have so many dads. Those are traditionalist wives and mother roles. You know, I'm not saying you shouldn't help out every now and again. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just trying to say you have a different role. You know, not to go any too biblical, but I read this and I just wanted to speak to how I see fatherhood. So the passages, I asked for strength and God gave me difficulties to make me strong. I asked for wisdom, and God gave me problems to solve. I asked for prosperity, let's say, and God gave me brawn and brains to work. I asked for courage, and God gave me dangers to overcome. I'm out of breath. Cool. But it speaks to, and it carries on, patience, love, etc., etc. It speaks to the role of the father. The father, when you say, I'm looking for love, the father is not meant to, oh, let me love you and embrace you. When you say, hey, I'm looking for money, oh, nanti mali. That's not what I believe the father should come in. I believe the father's role is tough love. Tough love like a drill sergeant. Drill sergeants are about tough love. The more tough love the drill sergeant gives you, the higher the chance that you'll come back from war. A rugby coach, the harder the rugby coach is in terms of discipline, conditioning, running, fitness, the harder he is, chances are you will enjoy the game a lot better when you're playing it. A lot of us didn't experience tough love. We've got the mother nurturing love. Mothers, when you need something, she breaks her back trying to provide it for you. Whereas the father, if you need something, he needs to create an opportunity for you to get it yourself. If you need to learn how to be patient, he needs to create that opportunity for you to learn that if you want to have strength, I can't reach the top, koninte somewhere. The mother will go and reach for you. Ubaba should be in the case of, hayi cabanga ndoda bona ukuthi na ungenze njani. Khona izinto la endlini inje nawe njengomfana ungabonani. Awubheke khona izitulo khona ini, and teach him how to fend for himself, because a lot of us, once we get into our 20s, we realized ukuthi we had a lot of that nurturing love, but we didn't know how to fend for ourselves. We didn't have that tough love. We didn't have that drill sergeant type of love. And then there's that huge dissonance in our 20s where we become these soft, feminized men, and then we struggle. And then when you become a father, you become a deputy mother instead of giving the opposite energy. Kevin Hart released a movie, Fatherhood. It's a perfect example of what not to do as a father. There's a part in the movie where he says to the daughter, I just wanted to do what your mother would have wanted me to do. So the whole movie, he's just trying to mimic what the mother would have done. Yes, he was raising a little girl, so he's trying to be a mother to raise a girl and her challenges. But imagine if he had to raise a little boy and did the same things. The challenges that little boy will have when he's a young man and going into his adulthood and become a father, Kevin Hart would have fucked him up. He would have fucked him up because he would have brought him up to be a deputy mom, much like when we see Junior and My Wife and Kids. These soft little faggoty guys that don't know what's happening.
Huh?
No,
Hey, carry on, Baba. We'll say it's the flu.
Ngiyagula, guys. Ngiyazama kodwa.
But by the way, that's a derogatory term.
What
They
term?
should fucking cancel you, boy.
What term did I say?
I look forward to that day.
What? Oh, bro, you can't say that word.
I'm looking forward to that
See
day.
ya? You can't say that word.
The world only needs one pen. Boom. Carry on.
So give me. I look at it.
You're speaking about Junior on My Wife and Kids. Junior Carl.
Because we're raising a whole generation of men who are highly feminized. Then we get shocked when men don't know how to act in today's time. When we are super depressed, when men are super anxious, when men are killing themselves 4 times higher than any woman. We're not asking why is it that all these young men and all these fathers are killing themselves. No one is asking the hard question, because you are a tortoise roaming around the grasslands, realizing this is not me, and you've got all these women, other tortoises. You're doing well. Oh, I love a man who's like this. When we ask there's something missing as cheat, you're trying to put on this apron. You're trying to be the father that she wants you to father. You're fathering how the mother wants you to father, which is an extension of her. It's an extension of her. When she's tired, she wants an extension. Tata, it's your shift. It's an extension of her. When she's tired of cooking, it's an extension. Instead of you've got your roles. Hamba ngaphandle yokundutshan wena. Ungathi mase ngikhathela ukundutshan uye kumem uthi icela uzokundutshan now. Yey baba kundutshan. If there's things that need to be fixed around the house as the masculine, fix them. That's the, yes, they'll be overlapping before one baby triggered. But generally, just bring in the other energy. Let umama bring in the nurturing love, and wena baba bring in the tough love, if that is possible in an ideal space. To those single moms who don't have that, for whatever reason, let's not get too much into that, bring in male cousins, bring in a boyfriend as a stepdad, bring in as much opposite energy to you as you can, understanding that it needs to be love within the love space. So if you are a nurturing love person, try and bring in as much tough love as possible. Push-up, a guy who can teach him how to play rugby or those type of things that are opposites of you saying, oh my boy, type of energy. So balance. But that's just my 2 cents around fatherhood. I can keep going and talk for hours and hours on end.
Do you think you're fathering well?
I think I'm starting to. I was deputing mom for the longest time.
Which made you a bad father?
Yeah. I think so. Because I wasn't doing what I was... like at your job, you get paid to do something. You could be doing someone else's job, but you're not doing what you get paid to do. Do what you get paid to do. So you're doing this amazing thing, but you're not doing what you meant to do.
Last time we tried to do a comparison between our father and ourselves as dads.
Sure.
And you spoke about how you thought your father had a very little influence in your life. You speak now about you believe for yourself that a father should be present. But at the same time, you talk about tough love and those things. And many of the traits that your father had were arguably tough love.
Arguably.
But you don't seem to appreciate them. I mean, one of the criticisms we have is Akon, I think Andrew Tate as well has spoken about the idea of a man shouldn't be around all the time. Mm-hmm. Your father wasn't around all the time. And maybe as an argument, not for him, but for certain men, it's, if I'm around all the time, these boys won't grow up to become men. Mm-hmm. The one criticism that I probably have of your father is the lack of provision. Mm-hmm. Outside of that, it becomes difficult as I get older to think that there might have been malice in how he was parenting. I mean, the guy bought boxing gloves, or he stole them, and he used to make us fight. Mm. The guy kept dogs, a lot of greyhounds. He had a lot of guns. He always had young and old boys and men around him, which means even if we were visiting him, there was a huge dose of testosterone that we'd get. Thanks to him and your mother, obviously, we get to visit his brothers as well. I think a lot because I had a lot of conversations about him, and he owned some of his mistakes, at least as far as I'm concerned. Mm. A lot of them, he didn't. And one of the things I've grappled with as I get older is trying to understand his thinking. This lady, Sadia Khan, is a psychologist. She's from Pakistan, and she's trending now on TikTok. She seems to hold men to account a lot. She seems to speak ill of women who are half naked on social media. Mm-hmm. One of the clips that I liked, which I shared last week, was her saying, not all absent men are bad people. And she was like, look, there's a lot of deadbeats, like real deadbeats, who run away from their kids and from responsibility. But a lot of the men try to co-parent with the mothers, and the mothers make it hell. We don't have to go deep on that now. I want to highlight the second part of that video where she says, if a mom is going to restrict access to her father and constantly tell the child that your father is rubbish and trash and toxic, that child is going to grow up believing that.
Sure.
And end up internalizing it and forget that half of who they are is this other person. Yeah. Which is something that I struggled with growing up. And it's one of the reasons why I wanted to understand your father so much. Because I was like, look, half of this motherfucker is inside me. So if I don't get an understanding of why he is the way he is, and I become like him, I won't be able to change the behavior or be able to explain why. Time of age to use to hit the old lady and his girlfriends. He was physically abusive.
Sure.
Now, if I don't try and understand what got him there, I might find myself hitting women.
Yeah.
Because I don't understand it. And half of who he is in me.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things a lot of these, we'll call them toxic mothers, assuming that the father was a relatively decent person. What happens when you teach your child to hate half of who they are is that the child begins hating themselves.
Sure.
Number one, I hate your father. He's a piece of shit. Mm-hmm. When you look in the mirror as you get older, you see the,
yeah,
and you're like, fuck, old lady, I'm so sorry I look like this guy. Then there's other traits. I mean, your father loved dogs. Now, does that mean you must hate dogs?
Sure.
Your father loved guns. Must you hate guns? Your father loved children. Must we hate children? Your father had his soccer boys around. You have your rugby boys. Like, those are all the aspects of him in you.
Sure.
Some of them might be positive, so you're like, oh, it's fine. But some of the negative ones, it becomes a situation of propaganda. Who decides that your father making you guys fight with each other is bad?
Sure.
Who decides that your father not being around all the time is bad? I've struggled, but I needed to understand so that I can change the behavior. And my big concern today, the people that are getting to dictate what manhood and fatherhood is, do not have the best interests of the family or the children. And I'll tell you, in my opinion, the people who are feminizing, and by feminizing we mean it in a negative sense where men are being made weak and vulnerable and anxious and desiring to almost be treated like women. You know, move out the way, let him speak, let him cry. I think it's men. I don't think it's women. I think there's a small group of men at the top, the powerful and the elite, that understand that when you create spaces where men become very intelligent, very physically strong, hyper masculine, you are creating competition.
Yeah.
If the ANC does an amazing job of grooming young activists into becoming Julius Malema and Floyd Shibambu, they are literally signing their resignation.
Sure.
So I think these people realized, the solution is actually to weaken them. The solution is to weaken men as much as possible, and we become the only. You know, we were speaking about Mr. Beast released a post about how he's been gymming fucked up.
Sure.
And he can't wait to post before and after. Mark Zuckerberg is doing jiu-jitsu, mixed martial arts. He's getting his kids to exercise. Jeff Bezos went from fucking looking like a middle-aged, I don't even know what he looked like, a pup, to what he is now, ripped. These guys understand that, look, I'm rich, I'm a nerd, but like the real world is actually about hyper-masculinity. But now if you're competing with other people, you want to keep them as weak as possible. And if the people at the top are not trying to create spaces for strong, masculine men, the question becomes, who should be? And then philosophically, should we even be trying? Or should we just let things be? And those of us who have realized that there's a problem, we'll carry on doing what we do.
Let me just go back when you're talking about Umloj. I think the reason why I give so much of who I am to him is because I don't think he was intentional with his parenting. The way that you speak about your kids, the way that you speak about parenting, it's clear that you've thought it out. I think Umloja was that farmer who just threw, he was eating an apple and it was pips and he just spat them out on the grass.
Is that not good enough?
I don't know. It was not good enough for me. So
who decided that it's not good enough for you?
I'm deciding it for me. I don't know.
Yes, based on what?
Basing on the intention that I'm trying to do.
No, I ask this because you criticize, like I do, many men in how they father.
Yeah.
And you blame women, maybe media, society.
I blame them as well.
I'm asking you now, in terms of this concept you call intentional fathering, which you claim your father didn't have.
Yeah.
And I would argue he wasn't taught.
Sure.
I'm asking you, who taught you to be intentional?
Yes. So
because it might still be the same women and the same society.
That's perfect. You know, that's perfect. I'm just telling Guti, that's my criticism of him. Whether he knew it was right or wrong to hit a woman, you know, because of his background, whatever the case is, for him it was perfectly normal to beat up a little boy and to beat up a woman, maybe. But I still am allowed to judge that. You know?
Always.
And we can say maybe I judge that because I was raised by media and the law of the time was that you cannot hit, you know. So, yes, if that's the case.
Yeah.
So, for me, I don't appreciate guys that father by biting on the apple. There's a bit of a pip, spits on the ground and keeps moving. Then an apple becomes a LeBron James. Yeah. And then now we need to praise, you know, the father. You know, we can always appreciate the fact that, hey, thanks so much for eating the apple and biting. And when we can do that. But I feel like it should end there. You know, so gimme, it's all about intentional. The problem comes in when I talk about things like being a present dad. Because being a present dad, people think about what it means from a mom's point. You know, Guti, you are always there, Shushu Zisingani, you are always there. Dada. Being present means that you can live with your child. Or you can see your child once a week. Or you can see your child once every 6 months. But the aim is that when you are there, you are doing something in terms of the education and the guidance that the child needs at whatever space. If you look at the needs that I have when I was 5 years old, they're not the same needs that I'll have when I'm 15. So if I look at parenting and intentional parenting as a father, Uzit, I can guarantee that when he's going through 12, 13-year-old and he's jerking off 10 times a day, he doesn't need me constantly there.
That is disgusting.
He doesn't need me there.
Who jerk with Vaselina?
I don't know.
That is fucking... What do you jerk with?
I don't
Huh?
Sis, I don't do that. That's haram. Anyway, so so again, he doesn't need me as much in terms of how being present, you know. He doesn't need to see right now. The Ntanga doesn't need to see me every week. He really doesn't, you know. But when I am there, it needs to be intentional. I need to come there with some sort of plan, you know. It's like going into any business meeting.
But who taught you that?
I'm teaching myself this.
It's impossible.
No, listen to how.
That is absolutely impossible.
But let me finish.
You're a psych major.
But
And you've watched
But
documentaries.
in my comments,
I wanna say something.
Man,
Sorry, I'm interrupting you. I wanna say
Oh,
something
yeah.
about Dr. Umar Ifatunde. Because he studied psychology like you, and there's something he said when I sat with him, and there've been 3 people that have asked me my opinion. And I wanna raise my opinion, but I'd like you to please. When Uzita turns 12, 13.
Yeah, so who taught me this? So I taught myself by doing this. I saw Guti, I want to bake a milk tart. TV taught me how to bake a milk tart like this. Social media is teaching me how to bake a milk tart like this. Similar, different. I read a recipe book. It teaches me like this. I go to next door neighbor, Mafro Skerpes. She shows me like this. So what I have then done is I've taken the little bits that work for me, you know, and I've pulled them together as best as I can. And that's how I choose to make Penson's milk tart, you know. So that's all I was trying to say. Which when I look at parenting, you know, my wife and kids taught me to father a certain way. Banbani taught me to father a certain way. You've taught me to father a certain way. Mlo Jordan. I've pulled out what I deem. I might be wrong. 5 years from now, I might look back with regret.
Yeah.
You know, but as it is, I've pulled out the little nuggets that I thought were nuggets, and that's what I'm using. You know, and it might be right, it might be wrong, but that's what I'm using. And when I talk about it, I talk about it from my point.
You don't think your father did the same in his time? Looked
don't-
at other men and fathers around him and said, look, I think I'm doing better than other fathers because I'm fucking cool. Because your dad was cool. All the boys in the neighborhood wanted to be at his house, not at Ubabba and his house. Your dad was fucking dope. Boys that wanted to learn how to drive cars, boys that wanted to go hunting, boys that wanted to learn soccer, boys that wanted to watch dope movies, they were coming to your father.
No, I hear that. And when he gives his view on it, he'll have to say that. You understand? So again,
But he doesn't have to say it.
no, should you ask him? You
No,
know?
he doesn't have to say it. You can just see it.
No, you're not hearing what I'm saying. You're
Okay.
saying, Wuti, you asked me a question, Wuti, is that not how he was also parenting?
Oh,
From a sense of
That he
Wuti,
was looking at the
pulling
guys
from
around
whatever. Yeah, but
no worries.
he will have to say that should that question be asked of him.
Sure.
Yeah, but so again, I can't speak on his behalf. Maybe not. All I can say is that this is how I'm parenting. I also know people who are parenting like this because they've been taught by one channel, you know, and I know people that parent differently to that. And the person who parents like this also has pros and cons. The person who parents open like this has pros and cons. And I try and learn from him and him and him and him, and I piece to what works for me.
I'm so happy that Steve Harvey and TD Jakes echoed my sentiments on not leaving your children an inheritance. Because some of us, when we say it, people obviously attack us because we're not Steve Harvey and we're not TD Jakes. But Steve Harvey was talking about how he wants to remind his kids that my money is my money. There's a nice way that they put it if anyone ever finds the clip.
Yo, if you were to write that, your Twitter would go for you, bro.
I have written it before.
But
and I've made a video about it before. And yes, on Twitter I got attacked. I realized that Instagram, Facebook, YouTube are better for me, for what I'm trying to build. And I should not let Twitter dictate the type of content I release on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, because it seems the psychology of people on the different platforms is different. And it's not fair to come from a household where I get beaten up. And then when I go to other spaces, I'm defensive and angry. When it's like, bro, we didn't hit you. We didn't hit you on YouTube. Why now are you saying fuck you guys? But we didn't comment here.
But people move differently. So the same
No,
person
I agree.
on Instagram when you quit, because like you did that post about that young gentleman that actually hung himself in Cape Town.
Yeah.
And I'm reading through some of the comments, and obviously the comments and what you had said about making sure Guti psychologically,
Watch what you feed your mind.
And I'm reading this one person saying, so when Penuel Guti, the reason he killed himself is because of social media. And I'm going, bro, like some people just wake up angry and they just want to spew that negative into the world. And you just go, I wonder if you had a father, all right.
That's not nice.
That's not nice.
So Steve Harvey and TD Jakes were just echoing that it's more important to leave your children with the skills to do for self than to just leave them assets because they might blow through them. I sat with Dr. Umai Fatunde and the question on present parenting came up. And he spoke about the importance of present fathers and those things. And I remember people asking me, what did you think of that? And I think I was asked even recently. And my answer was, you must understand, Dr. Umai Fatunde is a trained psychologist. As we have philosophical discussions, because we need to have them, and they need to be ongoing, because the world that we live in is forever changing. I like going back to the genesis. And as a Penuelist, one of the things I've said before is whenever I'm confused, I look to the animal kingdom.
Sure.
If you want to discuss LGBTQI, if you want to discuss gender-based violence, domestic violence, if you want to discuss parenting, if you want to discuss food, I look to the animals.
Yeah.
I look to the lion, pride. I look to the elephants. Maybe not dogs because they're domesticated by humans. But I look at a lot of animals and whenever I'm confused, because for me, that's the closest thing to real nature. I don't agree because we have turned everything into a thesis, to a PhD project. Sure. Everything. Sure. We psychoanalyze everything, understandably so, and it must be a constant conversation. Sure. What are we trying to achieve? And this is what I was trying to say earlier. The people that are the courts, the people that drafted the Children's Act, the Children's Act, number one, focuses on what is in the best interest of the child.
Of the child, yeah.
It's a beautiful line. What is in the best interest of the child?
From a theoretical
Mom, Dad, you guys can't seem to agree. We as the court represent the child. And we'll hear you, Daddy. We'll hear you, Mom. And at the end of the day, depending on the child's age, we'll interview the child. We will do what is in the best interest of the child. That line is wrong. It sounds good. And when you go into it, you're like, and when you're fighting with the parent, you're like, yeah, but what's in the best interest of the child? And then the mother's like, yeah, but that's not in the best. The reality is we should be doing what's in the best interest of the family. Yeah. And what's in the best interest of society. Because what might be in the best interest of the child is to fucking eat condensed milk the whole day. And dad has got condensed milk on tap. And you know what I mean? What is in the best interest of the unit is actually what we need to be looking at. Because as soon as you say what's in the best interest of the child, it's almost fuck mom and dad. Once someone comes to fight for female rights, what's in the best interest of the female? Fuck the child, fuck the man. Once we're like, no, we need to focus on men's rights. Fuck we are intentionally destroying what we're meant to be doing. So I go back to nature. And in nature, yes, there are the roles. We'll argue when people speak gender roles, the mom and the dad, the man and the woman, the child, etc. In nature, which is how I believe I try to parent or father. Sure. Yes, it's a fictional animated movie, but I think you see it in real life when you watch National Geographic. Simba is born of Sarabi. Mufasa's there to support and protect. When Sarabi is vulnerable, she's given birth, Mufasa will make sure that she's safe. And if needs be, he'll go hunt. Generally, he won't hunt. The other women will go hunt. This is where now you look at Africa and how we used to live. To what you're saying, when the mom is tired at night, someone else needs to do the shift. In African ways of living, the shift would be her mother, her sister. If she has an older daughter, it would be other women in the village. Maybe a sister wife, which I know women don't like. It wouldn't be the man. Because the men are maybe protecting, securing, whatever the case may be. Same thing happens in the animal kingdom. If Ubani can't eat, it's not like, but Mufasa, you must go hunt. You can see I've just given birth. Mufasa will be like, no, I'll chill here outside. Your sister will go hunt. Because you guys hunt, boss. So I look to that. Sarabi's there with Simba. Early days. If it's the type of animal that suckles, obviously you have to fucking suck titty.
Yeah.
The kids play with each other.
Guys are
Within
still
a pride.
titty at grown age. They still
Guys are
suck on
sucking titty at age 35, and a big reason for that is because mommy's still whipping out the titty.
Oh, snap.
So mommy needs to put the titty away.
Let me put the titty away.
Put the titty away, mom.
Gents, you guys like sucking titty?
Put the titty away, mom.
Nah, nigga, with a little bit of sucking titty.
Sorry.
Anyway, keep going.
Small deviation, but it's been one of the fights that I've had with your mother.
Yeah.
Umams. Mamsi loves us to death. We love her to death.
Sure.
But she constantly finds herself over mothering.
Yes.
And I'm like, Oleti, at some point we need to call you to order. Stop. You have got a daughter, number one. Number two, you've got 9 grandkids. I think try and shift your energy there. We are Simbas that have grown. So, anyways, the kids are together, etc. And as Simba grows up, on top of being with other boys and around Sarabi and her female, this is where kids get sent to school. What Sarabi won't teach you, Auntie Banban will teach you, Usisbani from the neighborhood will teach you. Very, very quick thereafter. And it has to be quick. By quick, I'm talking age 3, age 5 for a human. Sarabi needs to let go and be like, your father's calling you. Him and the other men are going to herd cattle. Him and the other men are going to patrol the perimeter or the perimeter of you have to go. Mommy, I'm scared. I know my baby. It's okay. Yeah. But you have to go with your father because he has to take you to that next level now. Sure. Where he's teaching you that you have claws and these motherfuckers can tear people open. You have teeth or phalanx or fangs or whatever. Sure. I need to train you on how to use these things. And I also, very importantly, need to train you that you must never use these things on your mom, on your sisters, on your younger siblings. These things we use for the people out there. You see what happens when I get home and your mom starts growling and you'll see that line bagging Mufasa. Hey, Mufasa is just like, hey, suga. Sarabi's like, hey, I've been waiting for you all day. Where have you been? Where have you been? Simba needs a little sibling. Hey, get off me, Sarabi, get off. I take that and I put it into the world we live in now. Number one, it's been what you were saying, taking bits and pieces and piecing it together. So this becomes my little thesis. You've got your own little thesis. And when you look at the theses that we have, they don't seem to align with the world out there. Yeah. And the saddest part is they don't seem to align with the mother of your child. Yeah. Because now she may have her own thesis. Yeah. But we don't know if she ever put this together or if she just went to pick it off the shelf. Oh, this is what a good mother is. No, but there's already a book. Now, if you go take a book on the best father and it's like, yo, you must take your child out for ice cream. You're like, good daddy, ice cream guppy. For what? The women, and especially I'll speak for black women, when you speak to them about their mothers, their grandmothers, they'll tell you these women come from trauma. They come from patriarchy. They were oppressed. Timbegezela. I'm not going to do that. Yeah. I'm not going to be like my mom and my grandmother. Sure. I'm going to go another way. And that other way has been prescribed by the white man and the white woman. Sure. And while you guys are trying to co-parent, there's this clash and it is so serious. And while you're clashing, this is what hurts me the most. Again,
the unit gets fucked.
In whose best interests are you working? Is it in yours? Do you know how hard I work? Do you know also it's about you? No, but this child is what also it's about the child. It's not about all of us. Your child misses you, that's fine. Fuck the child missing me. Who are you? Spokesperson saying, that's not 7. Don't worry about the child. Tell me whatever you want to tell me. The child misses you. Oh, cool. I miss him too. When are you coming home? No, I'll see you. I'll update. Let me parent the way I feel is best because you're doing the same. You're not hearing me saying, oh, I spoke to my child. He says you were in his face every day. Why are you always shouting at him? Leave him. Let him stay with me for a month. Why? Because he says mom is always shouting. You're like, but I have to shout. Why is that fine?
I hardly hear men telling women how to mother.
No, men don't. Well, mostly for many reasons.
But OCC, all of them have so much to say about how they want you to parent. And you're just like, when you tell
it's from a place of care. I need to defend them.
Defend Quebec?
the thesis they took down
Mm.
in their heads, the movies they watch,
Sure.
they probably think,
My wife and
shame.
kids.
No, they're thinking, you don't know. Let me show you. Let me tell. And if you don't, let me skill you. Let me upskill you.
Because again, every time
your son misses you so much, and you're like, I fucked. You're like, babe, listen. Top psychologist Dr. Umay Fatunde and Jordan Peterson, they all say, because she's thinking in her head, I don't think you know.
Yeah,
and when you speak and you're like, no, but fuck, stop listening to Dr. Phil. It's like, babe, trust me. We can, when I argue with people and then they tell me, where's the data? Where's the stats? Show me the articles. I'm like, this is the problem. If we're going to keep pulling articles from
Europe in
a space where, because then I can go and say, yeah, but black people are inferior and weak and they should be servants.
And I can pull out research. Right?
And I can pull up data and research. So why are you working in a high professional space? You should be a servant. You should be cleaning in the... I've got data. Where's the data of black female doctors? Show me where you guys were great in history. That's wrong. It's the wrong type of thinking.
Yeah.
So, from different hymn sheets. The problem is, umuntu wesimame, and I'm not blaming the women. Again, I'm blaming the men who have created the space, because when we speak about the elite, we speak about people who understand the power of divide and conquer. Look, Penson's going to the gym a bit much. He probably thinks he can move you. Are you going to let him push you around? Hey, I'm your older brother. You can't... Then you go somewhere else and it's your neighbor. Yeah, apparently he got better marks than you. Yeah, but his dad has got a what. Then it's like, oh, but he's white. Oh, you're going to let a white person tell you.
Oh, Jesus.
Lapo, you're being told by a black leader who works in business with white people.
All day, every day.
But he's coming to tell you, look at what white people did to us. Divide and conquer is the order of the day. And if we're serious about fixing our families as the cornerstone of a functional society, it has to be about us. It can't be about me.
You speak, and this is just maybe Illuminati, where you start thinking about these powerful men, would they just employ sisters, eh? Like, if you want to get all conspiracy theory,
it's not conspiracy. Jordan Peterson calls it, he says feminine energy, specifically women, are more agreeable.
Because if I'm a Raymond Ackerman and I own all the Pick and Pays, and I'm like, I'm just going to employ black females. So every cashier, every Montokoropa, every manager is, what is happening to black males? Today, Jimini, the person that was cleaning the bathroom, in the male bathroom, was a female. I was like, how? Even in our bathroom, clean sis. Like,
even when you're out there with your totolozi.
I was like, how? But it's not the first.
You've never seen a snake like this in your house, lady.
So like, it's not the first, second, or third time I've seen this. I've seen this many times where I'm like, Amajita, how are they meant to provide for their families? Because none of them have jobs. I look in media, and in media, all the senior positions, most of the senior positions are held by black females. From the business unit head to the this to the that, the senior strategist, the head. The owners of the companies are still white males. They're still white males. But the senior structure is black female. And I'm going, and it flows down. Yeah, but, and I'm just like, in the media space, you've got like a 70-30 split. And then they'll say, yeah, but patriarchy because men own the companies. Bro, there's 10 men that own 10 companies, but if the 10 of them have employed 1 million people, and of that 1 million people, 900,000 are females.
If you want to gaslit a black person, a black man in particular,
gaslit or gaslight?
If you want to gaslight, my apologies.
Yes.
If you want to get black men gaslit, you have white men in South Africa standing up for black female rights. And wanting to employ black females. Well, number one, a black female gives you 2 ticks on the BE scorecard. Black and female. If she also happens to be young, it's a 3rd tick. Boy, if she's on a wheelchair,
oh God,
you've hit the lottery.
God mode.
You've got white men coming to tell you as a black man that we need to empower black females because I'm sure you were raised by a single mother. And then you're like, ooh, actually, yeah.
That's true, yeah.
We have to empower the females because the females are the breadwinners in the homes, the mothers and the grandmothers. So it only holds that if this person is looking after the kids, let's empower her. But you're being told by white people who are the descendants of white people who came and created a system where they took black men out of the homes to go work in the mines and the factories and the farms. And then today, they are the ones saying, but you abandoned your home. Masimbenja, why did I abandon my home? It's because you guys enforced a hard tax and you forced us to go and work. We were fine. Black men weren't leaving there.
What's a hard tax?
So when Abo Theophilus Shepstone and the Lords came, they knew that black men were not going to leave their homes. Why would you leave your land, your cows, your goats? Why? It doesn't even make sense. Why would you want to go mine for peanuts? It's stupid. But they came up with this system where every hut had to pay a tax. Like Ama rates. The only way to pay rates is with money. The only way to get money is to go and get it from the money system, either through a job or a business. And you know black people were second, third class citizens. You couldn't start a business. So your next best bet is a job. Work. The only person to give you a job is a business owner who happens to be a white person.
Got you.
You know what I mean?
Got you.
So these guys now had to go and do that. Some of them, especially in the Eastern Cape, that fucking fake prophetess, they went and they killed their cattle because there was a prophecy on you must kill your cattle or what. So now the men are in the cities, what. So you're coming to tell me that the reason my mom was struggling alone was because my dad wasn't around. But you don't want to address why my dad was not around. The reason my dad was not around is because your grandfather came and took him out of my house. And today, while we're speaking about black men struggling and what, you're like, yeah, but patriarchy and the women. And the same black women are going to echo what white men are saying.
Of course, because they employ them, yeah.
But after all of that, I want to say the issue today in 2023, because it's been phased over time, the excuses have shifted.
Yeah.
And they were valid at certain points.
Sure.
Today, the excuse is black men, for me. If young people claim that they want young people in parliament, they must vote for white people. I mean, young people, sorry.
Yeah.
Or they must vote for political parties that are run by young people.
Yeah.
It's really as simple as that. If women want women to thrive in business, they want women to be CEOs, it's very straightforward. Go and buy
and invest there
from female-owned businesses.
Yeah.
If black men are going to complain about jobs and businesses, and then you lose from a Pakistani, and then you want to go and buy from Raymond Ackerman's Pick and Pay or Christo Visa and Whitey Person's ShopRite, and you're going to go and buy from, but you're like, yeah, but no one wants to hire us black men. You're not hiring each other. What's stopping you as black men coming together? And this is where I admire, and I say this all the time, I admire the Indian, Arab, Muslim men in this country. Those guys don't play those games. Number one, and this becomes controversial, I have a theory. I don't know if I raised this before.
Sure.
I have a theory that if black men want to reclaim their power, they will need to create a space where they... Ooh, I'm going to get cancelled worse than your term. They must create a space where their women are not allowed to go work.
Okay.
The woman must go back to being dependent on the men. Unfortunately, black men have not proven that they are dependable. But that becomes a secondary, becomes another problem. Yeah. Black men need to tell their woman, you will not work. I remember when Africa was still young. These were some of the thoughts I was having before culture came, that I think I want Africa to depend on me as her father. I will feed her. I will protect her. If not me, it will be you, her uncle, Baba Mngane. If not us, it will be her older brother, Unkuns. You will go out and go hustle for your sister. And then you tell her, you will make sure that with your mother, with your grandmother, umams, with your aunt Upeni, you will make sure the house is clean and safe, and you will cook and you will bake. We, the men, will take care of you. Because I want, as she gets older, for her to have this mindset that my good man, and she must know what good men are and what bad men are, will take care of me and I'll take care of other things. And when she's of age, I will pass her on to the next man who will take care of her. Because that's what the Muslim people have gotten right. It's what keeps peace. It's what makes sure that the women submit. The women also have their own duties and they're respected in their own rights. Black men want that, but they're not willing to be like, we need to have a sit down and say, if we take all the women out of ShopRite, there are men that are going to have to work there. If we take the women out of all the hospitals, umuntu okoropa is going to be a man. Restaurants, men. And then we need to hold, now this becomes the other part, we need to hold all these men accountable that you will provide for your women. In the absence of that, or while we're trying to get to that, we will tax you out of your fucking ass so that all women get a very decent income. But that income will come from men. Every woman will know that whether I'm married or not, if I've got children or whatever, there are men that work hard so that I can be taken care of. So when I bump into a man, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for it's like going to war. We're safe because you guys died. If you know that men are working hard every day.
Oh, sis, man, donkey.
Oh, sis, no donkey, bro.
I know.
I'll say it because they say thank you to me all the time. Thank you so much, Pen. I'm like, it's only small things.
Yeah, you must welcome.
Black women in particular, bro. Look, it's both sides, but I have to speak as a man with a penis. Black women are waiting for us to wake up, bro. They actually miss us. And it's really sad when they watch these other nations. They won't say it, because, I mean, some of them are a bit childish and immature. But, you know when they see the ninjas? You know the ninjas? You know the ninjas go to mosque? You know the ninjas? You know when they see the ninjas there with their men and they're like, that could be us. But it requires us to step up. And we need to from home.
Without having to ask the sisters, because this is a conversation amongst men. Without having to talk to them, are they ready? If we can pay 5,000, now we're going to live a 5,000 rand lifestyle. Because a lot of those ninjas...
You're individualizing a societal problem.
No, I hear you. We romanticize certain things because we quickly look at the top 10%. We don't realize with a lot of those people that go to the mosque and now Arab brothers and whatever, they're not living a lavish life, you know. And maybe also it's better to be like, well, if I worked and we brought in something, our life would be a little bit more lavish. So I'm just saying, Wuti, as men, when we sit down and have these conversations, just some barriers that we might have to look at.
No, of course. But I need to be coming from a Western mindset now of individualizing a problem.
Sure.
For example, when you speak about a man and a woman and a child and how at night she wakes you up, you make it an isolated. And that's one of the things colonization got right. We spoke about the man being taken out of the house. Today, we are taken away from our families.
Sure.
So imagine your extended families from Pietermaritzburg, is from Efoslo, is from Newcastle or somewhere. You had a nuclear family. You knew, if you're a woman working overtime, that your mom is down the road.
Yeah.
And Penson's swine, Simbenja, that got me pregnant. His mom's down the road.
Sure.
So, mama, no, mlete. Your support is here, free. You don't have to worry about a nanny and those things. If you're hungry, if you're struggling, if you're not around and she's not feeling safe, she either calls her dad or she calls your dad. She calls her dad or your dad. She calls your brother. Sorry, but Penuel, I'm struggling. I'm not sure. I'm like, say, I'm there. Relax. But now, because of colonization and the money world, it's like, you're so smart. Why are you still in Newcastle? No, I think I should. Now you have to move as far away from your family as possible to deem yourself successful.
You're so successful. Why do you stay with your mom?
Why do you live with your mom?
Yeah,
Which is what Indians don't play those games.
Indians don't play those games.
They're like, Koko will stay here and be annoying us.
Umchita is driving an M3, but Uhlalagubo.
Umawak is here complaining, why your wife don't know how to make, why she doesn't know how to make curry the right way?
Spicy brinjal.
Oh, I fucking hate my mother-in-law. She's coming. I'd meet these Indian girls. Oh, my mother-in-law's coming over the weekend. I'm so nervous. And I'm like, that's it, boy. That's quality control.
Yeah.
My son doesn't eat this thing. What's this? What lamb is this? Where you bought it from? My son doesn't like this. My coach is like, bitch.
You know.
But we were taken away from
but
our families.
At the same time, Nomchita is also being
groomed
by her father, who also
comes
comes
her father's
through.
like, hey, my daughter
is complaining.
My daughter likes nice things.
Yeah,
uncle, I know. My daughter likes a perfume. Blue light from Dolce. You know Dolce? Dolce smells so nice, eh?
Yeah, but so the quality control it should be coming from both sides.
Of course.
To sharpen your knife and to sharpen her knife. But I think a lot of the time Satanda will complain
No. My point was just to your concern, because it's a very fair concern.
Sure.
We must be capable of individualizing.
Sure.
That's why I'm also saying, so you and I will agree. We'll tell our women, we don't earn much, but we'd like you to stay at home. We're trying to be like the Slamos. We're trying to be like the Afrikaners. We want submissive women, and if you guys want us to rise to the occasion, but we do it isolated. That's why I'm saying that if we're going to come up with these solutions, part of it may be we're going to tax all men. so that even the women whose men are not ready to step up, whose men are still being groomed and what. And then for the men, we're like, you will get no grant, bro. You must work.
You have to craft.
You'll either smoke in your or you'll what. And if you commit a crime, you best believe we're gonna take you out. But men here work, and the reason we work, what we call work, is because the women work at home. The kids need to go home to someone after school. Kids need someone to help them with the homework. Someone needs to cook. Someone needs to clean. Someone needs to. You and mama need to go out and work, and then you guys then need to hire help. It's like a double job. Let your mama carry all of that, and then you carry all of this. And where you fall short, she also earns a grant. If she doesn't need a grant, then it's fine. But it's one of the controversial solutions. It's lazy, and it's backwards. And I say it's backwards because I'm one of the people that it's lazy because when you look at the spaza shop dynamic, Emakasi, there is a shortcut to solving that. And the shortcut is setting up a national spaza stokvel, association. And that association will mimic the taxi association. So for you to have ispaza, you'll have to be part of an association. You come under there and then you get your spaza shop. And they know ukuthi like section 4 mhlambe ngakwamzamo noma sehlala nathi umlotshwe onespaza la. There's no one that's going to come in here because as soon as someone comes in here, you go to the association and they come and shut it down or they burn it. And they're like, if you want to have another spaza, it's like roots. These are so there's a shortcut in spaza shops, which is let's create associations. And if you're not part of an association, if you're not South African, if you're not black, for an example, if you're not from that kasi, you're not allowed to open there. It's lazy. I've got 10 minutes. It's lazy because the non-lazy argument is to actually fight. Sure. It's to actually be like, let's Pakistanis come in. If they open for 16 hours, we'll open for 18. If they sell for 2 rand, we'll sell for 150. They'll fucking go back to Bangladesh, boy. Yeah. Be like, there's no market there. There's no market in South Africa.
That's so racist. Look, I hear what you're saying.
I meant lazy in the sense that if we're telling women, talented, educated, ambitious, to stop work just so that men can rise up, that's lazy. But it's one of the solutions. I don't believe in it because I actually believe women should actually fully indulge. This becomes controversial. I believe in a genderless future.
Okay, that's a conversation for a different day.
Yeah.
But I'm saying with this quote unquote lazy way or lazy solution, like give me, we're talking about ukvota for which presidents. Give me, I'm just looking at it. In 3 years from now, in 5 years from now, in 10 years from now, will society be in a better space or in a worse space as a society? It's
going to depend on me and you.
Yes, I hear you. I'm saying
in the sense that like if you and I don't rise up and lead people and tell them to follow us,
100%,
they fucked.
100%. I'm saying, Guti, then me and you take over, and in this way of the family unit, then it's always thinking like with me, the way that I'm moving now, I'm asking myself, what I'm currently doing is going to make Penson 3 months from now proud. It's going to make Penson 3 years from now proud. If I see Guti 3 months from now, I'll look back or 2 hours from now, I'll look back and I'll be regret. Then I try as best as I can to move away from this. So when you speak about these potential solutions, you look at with your mind's eye, where does that put South Africa in 3 years' time?
Sure.
Where does that put South Africa in 10 years' time?
Sure.
With us continuing and unemployment only doing this, with us continuing and black men being unemployed, this keeps doing this as the graph. Men killing themselves is doing this. Clearly it's not working. The way that we talk about the family unit, the way that we're talking about fatherhood, the way that we're trying to it's clearly not working when guys like, Twitch. Is it Twitch? Is it Twitch?
I think it's DJ Twitch who took his life. Yeah, who worked on Ellen DeGeneres.
So when Twitch, no Ricky, who were portraying these amazing fathers, if they are taking their lives, obviously we don't know why. We're not saying it's because of the mom of the family or whatever. But I'm just saying, Guti, if clearly even those type of men are going through the most, then something has to change. Yeah, boy.
Why are you untidy? Ukunda nini? Awuyithanda ube neat.
No, it's grizzly bear season.
No.
It's grizzly bear season.
Awuyithanda mfethu ube soft nje. Uthande osisi bakhalele.
Yabona mase ngiqedele 75 hard. It's tough because ngiyagula and
But
I had
why
to go
haven't
to
you
the
cut your
gym.
hair? It's so untidy, bro.
I'll now, it's after 75 days.
Why aren't you like me? I'm trying to set a good example. You know, just be neat. Uthandeke. Usisi mayibuka nje vele.
Ubani usho njalo mabona? Ubani usho njalo mabona?
Your brother looks so soothing.
Not one person says that.
I think I'm in pain and your brother looks like the
Uzwile
remedy.
complimented ungathola kuma comments. Won't bangithanda abantu. Kodwa bangisubscribe echannelini yami. Kodwa bangithanda.
I'm not going to raise any of the comments. But guys, we actually do read your comments and I think we'll respond to a whole lot of them. We're going to shut this conversation down here. It is a very loaded conversation and we're obviously going to need to have it over and over and try and find a way to win. Because at the end of the day, people like myself I want you to win.
Yeah.
I want your family and your children to win. I want our society to win because there are so many forces out there. It could be in America, it could be in Russia that actually has an agenda to say, let's weaken all South Africans, whether black, white, Indian, colored, whether male, female, as long as South Africans, when they hear the Russians are coming in or the Americans are coming in, they get nervous. And we're saying, no, we actually are at that level and we are that powerful. So I really want us to win. And it starts with having sort of difficult conversations like this.
Yeah.
I think maybe in closing, I'd like to thank the 4 women. I want to thank the 4 women in my life who have made me a father. Thank you so much. I wish I could give you all guys names, but that would be inappropriate. And then thanks to my kids, man. Nkunzi Malanga, Uzulu, Afrika, Ushaka, Uculture, Unkanyezi, and Uskopu, Unyanga. Thank you so much for making me a dad, man. I'm so proud of my children. I'm so proud of how they're growing up, especially Nkunzi now turning 13 in September. I'm really blessed. And outside of them, man, the support base from their moms, from their mother's family, from my mother, my family, my brother, my sister, all my cousins, other people that have been my friends. I just want to thank you guys because just like motherhood, fatherhood, even for a great father is not a one-man sport. There's an entire ecosystem that you plug into. Teachers, friends, neighbors. A lot of the people that you believe are great fathers probably get advice from people like myself when they're unsure. I want to divorce this lady. You're like, no, dog. Take a breather. So thank you for making me a dad, and I will continue to rise to the occasion, and we will continue to try and hold men to account. And where men are broke and struggling, I've come up with solutions on how to become a good father even without money. And it's one of the things that we'll keep discussing, how to be a good father, a high confidence father, even if you don't have a job and you don't have money. But to all the fathers out there, man, all the stepfathers, all the grandfathers who step in as fathers, we love you guys. We appreciate you, and happy Father's Day from myself.
Yeah, man, just as well from myself. Happy Father's Day to all father figures. And thanks to my 3 Umpalumbas, Zita, Tanzi, Ndima. So, ngiyabonga chance. They make being a father worth it. I've got 3 cool fucking oaks. So,
hey, these fucking bastards. Basenza abantu.
Yeah, no.
I think,
it's
yes, because we look down on gents that are old without kids. I apologize.
Yeah,
we,
sorry,
we
guys,
actually discriminate. When it comes to prejudice,
sorry,
we actually look down. Like if you're over 30,
guys.
over 35 as a gent,
And you don't have a child.
we're like, hey, Baba, are you sure umshini uyasebenza? Umshini uyasebenza. But gents, bro, if you're a good man, have kids, man.
Yeah.
You know the most useless guys are piping babies. Fucking tired of paying Sasa grants. Imali back. Utu Brendan. Back money.
Yeah.
Imali call. Back money.
But yeah, happy Father's Day to all.
Pen and pen. We're out.
Cut, fam.
Thanks,